to 2 Chronicles chapter 7. I have a 10-minute sermon tonight. You love those, don't you? Yeah. My wife says, boy, I really like those 10-minute sermons. It was her idea. She's the one, she's going to patent those things. I think copyright those 10-minute sermons. Amen. I told you I was going to tell you something out of 2 Chronicles chapter 7. We have evolved into a Methodist church. We moved the pulpit off, but we're on our own side. But anyhow, or maybe we're Episcopal over here and it's Methodist over there. No chancel well in the middle. But anyhow, let me do something with you. Come on up, Dave. All of you, bow your heads a minute. I'm going to ask you something because you won't be honest if everybody's looking at you. So bow your heads, and I want to ask you something. And you can stick your finger up if it's the affirmative. You guys bow your heads over there. That's a toe heads, I'm telling you. How many of you in your life now, you know that you want to live right? Okay? You know that you want to be close to Jesus. You know you want to be a better man or woman than you are right now. And you know that in order to do that, you have to stay away from evil and not sin and not do bad things. And yet, in spite of all, as hard as you try, you still sin. Raise your hands. Boy, you're a stinking bunch of sinners. Pert near everybody in this house. You can raise your heads now. Let me ask you something. Why do you do that? You don't have to be a slave to sin. The answer to that question is found in 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. Now, we spent a week getting to, almost a week, we spent a week getting to this verse of Scripture. We know now why God said what He did. Right. The temple's been finished. The offerings has been made. Fire fell from heaven and consumed the sacrifice. Everything's happened. Solomon sent everybody away. They killed so many cows and sheep till everybody took home a truckload of meat. Man, I mean, this was a meat fest. You vegetarians, you've just been out of place there, but man, I mean, everybody took home a ton of meat, man. And so, and everybody's happy. They're rejoicing. It's ushering in 40 plus years of the greatest, most peaceful, most prosperous times in the nation of Israel. This is getting started. It's getting going now. And so Solomon, he's spent a month. He's been a month at this thing practically. Celebrating and feasting and fasting and feasting and fasting and solemn assembling and all that stuff. And he's worn out. It's like at the end of a 2-week revival, like we used to do 2-week revivals. And you get home on that last night and you flop down on your couch and man, you're just worn out. And Solomon goes to sleep. And when he goes to sleep, God tells him, 2 Chronicles 7:14. He tells him a little bit more. But he tells him that. God was off, and either in a dream or a vision or whatever. God tells him, if my people, and you know Solomon's prayer, we went through it last night, right? And the night before. So you know that Solomon's prayed, and you know that God appeared when He appeared to Solomon that night. He said to him, I heard your prayer, and I chose this place to myself, which Solomon asked him to do, remember, in the prayer, for a house of sacrifice. And then God goes to specifically nailing, just like I told you last night and the night before, the things that Solomon prayed for. And that was the point of the message last night. The short message last night was to keep on praying because God answers prayers, Coy. Right. So you keep on praying, man. And we can vouch for that, can't we? We've seen Him answer this way. So you keep on praying. And then God says, and He goes to the things that the very words that Solomon used. And He says, if the heaven shuts up and the locusts come to devour land, I said, if my people. Now here's where the rub comes in this thing. If my people, which are called by my name, now all of you raise your hands. You're struggling with doing ugly. Okay? That's what my grandma used to say. If you do bad things, you're doing ugly. So you're struggling with doing ugly. Okay? And God says, if my people which are called by my name, so first of all, it's only going to work if you're His people.
Right.
Okay? You have to be born again. If you're not born again, it won't work.
Right.
So just forget it. You're going to hell, so just leave it alone. Okay? And if you want to go the other place, we'll talk about it. But I mean, if you're not one of His people, you're on the way to hell, so you're done. But and He said they're called by my name. They're my people, and they're called by my name. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love the 87th Psalm where it says it'll talk about. And you need to read that. If you get bored with what I'm talking, the next 6 or 7 minutes you can read Psalm 87, just 7 verses long. And it talks about the glory of being a child of God, and it will be spoken of that He was born in this city, in God's city, in God's chosen city. He said, if my people, so you have to be on the narrow road. You have to be on the stairway to heaven instead of the highway to hell. There you go. How's that? That talks about the traffic congestion. You know, it's going to be busy going to hell, but there's not too many. There's room on the stairway to heaven. But you call by my name. We have His name. We're called by His name. If they'll humble themselves, that's no problem. We can do that, can't we?
Oh,
we can humble ourselves. Yeah, we can humble ourselves. If we don't humble ourselves, He'll humble us if we're one of His children.
That's right.
You either humble yourself or He'll humble you. So, you know, trust me, you'd rather humble yourself. You don't want God to do it. When God humbles you, it's pretty embarrassing. Most generally does it in front of everybody. You ever notice that? If they'll humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from the wicked way. Now, I think I can handle doing all of it until He says turn from his wicked way, and apparently I'm not the only one, because almost every one of you raised your hand. All the rest of you still struggling trying to turn from the wicked way, and yet as hard as you try, you wind up messing up again. I'm ashamed of you. You're a mess. You're a bunch of stinking sinners. Why is it that you keep failing the Lord? I wish this is Sunday. I'm going to do this again on Sunday morning. Why is it that we keep failing the Lord? I think the secret is found in the last phrase just before He says, turn from your wicked way. I think the problem is that we don't really seek the face of God. I think the problem is that we don't look God eyeball to eyeball, unflinchingly, without our hypocrisies and our pretenses, and let God really gaze into our heart, and we gaze into His heart, and Him tell us what the problem is. Yeah. You know, when someone intimidates you with a gaze, you'll turn your eyes away. You need to lock your gaze on God and stay there. Right. That's seeking His face. Right. His face. Don't look at His belly button or His shoes. Look at His face. It's easy to look at anyone's belly button. Matter of fact, you know, someone that's uncomfortable in your presence, they generally won't look you in the face. They'll look around, or they'll look down, or they'll shuffle their feet. And I remember this one little boy that got saved, and he said, preacher, he said, I'm going to drink my beer. And I said, okay, I don't care. I don't even drink your beer. I said, just ask the blessing before you do. You know, and Roger, you just go ahead. And a week or two later, he came back to the house, and he stood around, he stood there living, and he shuffled around his feet like that, and he kept his head down. I said, what's going on, son? He said, preacher. I said, what, Roger? He said, I told you that I was going to drink beer. And I said, yeah. He said, well, every time I go to pray, he said, I can't drink it. I didn't figure he could. You know, I said, you just asked the blessing. God said you drink. But anyway, I'm talking about he's uncomfortable with what he's having to say. Folks, that's the way we are with the Lord. Let's look Him in the face. What do you mean, preacher, look Him in the face? Well, let me give you a couple of examples real quick. Jacob. Okay? He got hold of God, didn't he?
Right.
Got a hold of Him one night, didn't he? And they had a wrestling match.
Oh, yeah.
And Jacob said, I'm not going to turn you loose. I'm not going to turn you loose until you bless me. Right. And if it kills me, I'm going to hang on to you. And I'm telling you what's the truth. I remember the time in my life that me and God had an encounter. And I remember till this very day that the limp that He gave me that day. And I'm telling you, I don't trust a man that don't walk with a limp. If you've never locked on with God and stayed till God turns you loose or told you what you needed to hear, you're not going to be the person. You're not going to be the person. That's why you're struggling and failing. That's what it is. You need to just lock on with God and say, I'm not going to let go, God. I'm seeking your face. I want to turn from my wicked way. I want to be more than what I am. You guys are a great bunch of people.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just joking about being stinking sinners. Y'all are. Probably don't stink because you probably had a shower before you came to church. But anyhow, you're sinners. We're all sinners, but we're saved.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But guys, we can be better than what we are. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best church that there is. And every church I've pastored knows that I say that about this church because it really is. You all are the best. You're just wonderful to be around and to pastor, and it's great to come to church. I love it and I enjoy it. But folks, we can be more than what we are.
That's right, brother. Yeah.
Think about what Jacob was before that night that he wrestled with God all night long, and think about what he was afterwards. Always before he was trying to get the best end of the deal. Always after that he was giving and helping. And this old man was able to bless Pharaoh instead of when his son. Can you imagine Jacob before? If his son had been Pharaoh's #1 man the way Jacob was before, he'd have tried to snooker him for everything he did, wouldn't he? But afterwards he, humble in his presence, actually pronounced a blessing on him. Isn't it amazing what seeking God will accomplish? Think about that. Think about Moses. Just quickly, and I'm about through. Think about Moses. Moses loved the Lord, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Moses loved the Lord so bad he couldn't hardly stand it. Moses loved the Lord so bad till it consumed his whole life. Moses loved the Lord so much that he said, Lord, I'm just dying to see your face. And the Lord said, Moses, if you see my face, you will die, brother.
Right.
So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You love me so much, and you won't hush. You see, you read the story, Moses would not hush. He just kept on and worrying God to death. And God said, okay, get that rock.
Yes.
I'm done with you. And he said, I'll pass by. You can see my back after.
Right.
Isn't that sweet?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Moses had any problem turning from his wicked way, do you?
Right.
The only thing that got Moses ticked off was a bunch of aggravating Jews. Made him lose his patience one time, and it cost him the privilege to go into the Holy Land.
Right.
Promised land. But he got over there later, didn't he?
Right.
In a new body on the Mount of Transfiguration. How sweet was that?
Amen.
I'm telling you, I'm going there one of these days.
Amen.
Oh,
Folks,
yeah.
listen to me. Then God says, then those promises, I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. But folks, if we want God to do what we want God to do in this country, we're going to have to turn from our wicked ways.
Right.
And the only way that we're going to turn from our wicked way, and it has to do with the church age. I was talking to Sandy Jarrett today down at Burlington, and she says they live 5 minutes from where the Burlington revival's going on. She said last night, there was thousands of people outside the tent. Said it beats all she's ever seen in her life.
Amen.
Still going on. One night, 600 people, they said, got saved one night.
Amen.
God's moving, folks. Let me tell you, there's some people that are turning from their wicked ways. There's some people that are seeking the face of God. And our prayer is, and my prayer is, that it'll start here. That it'll continue here, and it'll grow. And we will. And I'm going to issue you an invitation. As Brother Ken comes to rest of that, brother, you ready to go back there in a while? I'm going to give you an invitation after a bit to make a commitment to seek the face of God. Now I promise you, if you make that commitment, your encounter may be painful, and it may be prolonged, and it may last a while, and it may come soon, and it may be a while coming. But I promise you, if you make that commitment, God will honor that commitment. And one of these days you'll start walking with a limp, and when you do, you'll be a happier, more fulfilled person than you've ever been.
Oh, yeah.
Think about that while Brother Ken comes.